So good afternoon. I'm Shailaja Suresh, a Senior Solutions Architect with Amazon Web Services. And I'm here today to touch on a very broad topic, as you know, and as Ron said, the role that Amazon plays towards sustainability. All right, so here's the agenda. So now we would need to know what the climate pledge is, which is the first topic, followed by the topic, which is like Amazon is huge and there are lots of things that we could touch on under the topic of sustainability. But for the sake of simplicity, for this seminar, we are going to focus on three things today. One is the renewable energy, and then the transportation and delivery, and followed by the circular economy, which is a pretty hot topic at the moment. Then we would dive deep into the sustainability within AWS Cloud, followed by the Amazon Sustainability Data Initiative. All right, so that said, moving on. Let's start with the Paris Agreement. The goal of the Paris Agreement is to strengthen the global response to climate crisis by 2050. In 2019, Amazon and Global Optimism made a commitment to meet the Paris Agreement 10 years earlier. And this is a pretty ambitious goal. And this ambitious commitment is called the Climate Pledge. The goal as part of this commitment is to have net zero carbon in Amazon operations by 2040. Now that pretty much sets the stage for this presentation. So let's now dive a little deeper on how Amazon is operating day to day to achieve this. All right, so what do we typically measure, right, in terms of carbon emissions? We actually have 5 models. We use as a template. These models are something like we use as a template to track emissions. The first one is the financial model, which helps us to see the big picture and only prioritize on those items which matter most to our customers in terms of value adds. And thereby we can save a lot of cost, not just for our customers, but also for Amazon. The second one is transportation. So under transportation, we not only track emissions of our delivery trucks, but also the emissions that happen while shipping products to and from our warehouses, because that's a big deal. The third one is electricity that we consume in our data centers, offices, and warehouses again. The fourth is packaging, as to how we could reduce the use of boxes and efficiently recycle the products and bundle up more products which could be like accommodated together, just as Ron mentioned a while back. And the last one is our devices, where we track the manufacturing, the use, and end-of-life phases to gauge the carbon footprint. And now that we know what we measure, let's shift our focus towards renewable energy and see how Amazon brings about sustainability transformation with the use of renewable energy. All right, so Amazon's sustainability efforts are happening all around the globe, as you already know, every moment. And we have our largest wind farm in rural Texas today. Talking about our solar projects, last March, we announced our first renewable energy project at Singapore. And it has a series of solar panels like what you see in that picture there, mounted on a ground system. And now the benefit of a ground-mounted solar panel system is that the panels can actually adjust themselves such that they can change based on the sun's exposure or changing weather conditions. And this project is expected to generate clean energy to power more than 10,000 homes in Singapore annually, which is pretty impressive. And by the way, that's just one example. In 2020, we became the world's largest corporate purchaser of renewable energy. All right, let's focus on transportation, because transportation sustainability is a big deal to us, especially with the shipments for our products. And here is a fun fact, by the way. Our scientists did a research and they developed a model to compare the carbon intensity while ordering groceries from Whole Foods Market online versus driving to the nearest Whole Foods Market store. And the results are pretty fascinating. The study found that the online grocery deliveries generate 43% lower carbon footprint per item when compared to shopping in stores. That sounds like a pretty interesting example, isn't it? I mean, yeah, it sounds like me. It sounds like that to me. And in 2019, Amazon ordered 100,000 custom electric delivery vehicles, just as Ron mentioned, from Rivian. And talking about micro-mobility, there is a picture on the right where a lady is driving a bicycle kind of a vehicle. So this happens pretty much in densely populated cities like Tokyo, New York City, Paris, where we actually deliver packages by bicycle or on foot using push walkers. All right, so double-clicking on delivery. We are developing autonomous delivery vehicles like Amazon Scout and Prime Air drones, as you see from those pictures. And these devices are currently being tested to be able to transport small packages quickly yet safely. All right, we should also touch on the topic of Shipment Zero. Shipment Zero is our goal to deliver at least 50% of our shipments with net zero carbon by 2030. This means that right from the fulfillment center, where an item gets picked off, to the materials used to package that item, and the mode of transportation that gets the item to the customer's door should all be net zero carbon. And so let us talk about frustration-free packaging as well. And this is not something new to any of us here. Our frustration-free packaging programs are programs that incentivize the manufacturers to develop more sustainable packaging solutions for online fulfillment. And on the right-hand side there, you do see a little icon, which is the climate pledge friendly icon for products selling on Amazon.com website. And while you shop at Amazon.com, items with this icon indicate that we are highlighting products that meet sustainability standards. And we would encourage you to take a look at those products first. All right, so let us double click on packaging further. Whichever packaging it be it a box, or if it's probably a fully recyclable mailer, it's our daily commitment to use less materials and more recycled content. We also shrink our packages since lighter fitter packages fit more orders in each truck, as you see from that picture there, resulting in lesser trips and fuel use. And all this goodness is combined with our electric delivery vehicles, which are getting us to be more energy efficient every day. All right, now let's touch on the hot topic for today, which is the circular economy. At Amazon, we are working to send less material to landfill and more back into the circular economy loop. And let us see some examples on how we make that possible. All right, one example is through product donations. When we have surplus inventory left in our fulfillment network, what we do is that Amazon actually donates the eligible items to charity organizations, giving products a new life. And this is a great way not just to reduce waste, but remember, it also helps to build stronger communities. Amazon Second Chance. Amazon Second Chance is yet another example under circular economy. Okay, here is an interesting example. We all have personal experience when we have electronic equipment lying around at our garage or basement that cannot be repaired or traded in, right? Doesn't that sound familiar? So Amazon actually makes this easy for its customers through the device recycling option. And the Amazon Device Recycling Program routes electronic equipment to recycling partners who dismantle the items and ensure that they are recycled and repurposed into new products. So a lot of electronic waste does not go down the waste stream. Switching gears here, many of us might also be interested to buy refurbished products. And this is where Amazon Renewed comes into play. Amazon Renewed offers professionally inspected, like new refurbished products. And by the way, the good news here is that all these products are backed by Amazon Renewed guarantee. And then comes the product support. Amazon actually encourages customers to fix items before replacing or disposing them, which also means less ordering on Amazon.com website, which is pretty impressive. We offer customers with technical assistance, replacement parts, and repair services across geographies. As a mother of two myself, this is something I'm teaching my kids as well. When they come up with the newer electronic items as part of the Christmas wish list, I insist on repairing the older toys or even purchasing pre-owned gadgets. I agree this is a new normal for most of us here, but I'm confident that we will all eventually get adjusted to it eventually. And also, I consider this to be a small gesture from my side to contribute to the circular economy. All right. Since we are discussing circular economy, let's touch on the topic of battery and electric vehicles. Good batteries are going to fuel our future circular economy, no doubt about it. And this picture here shows a flywheel with cell makers, automakers, and other entities all tied together. The battery materials flow from the raw material to production systems and then back through the reuse and recycling. And even insurance companies today are interested in understanding the battery data since they are responsible for the replacement cost, if there is a damage to the system, of course. AWS has been helping electric vehicle companies to track down the analytics behind the battery, which is why the electric vehicle maker Rivian has selected AWS as its preferred cloud provider today. And such electric vehicles make transportation cleaner and more sustainable in accordance with the climate pledge. By the way, it's also time we start planning about having electric vehicles charging stations while building homes or offices. All right, so now to the interesting question. Is it more sustainable in the cloud when compared to on-prem data centers? The answer is absolutely yes. With the cloud, you can use what you want whenever you want, which allows for customers like yourself to drive up high utilization. In a recent research, we found that the same task can be completed on AWS with 88% lower carbon footprint when compared to a traditional on-premises enterprise data center. And AWS infrastructure is also 3.6 times more energy efficient than an enterprise data center. And because we control all our data centers and the supply chain behind it, we can actually rapidly roll out efficiency improvements around the world. We are continuously working on ways to increase the energy efficiency of our facilities, including our offices. And in fact, we have sustainability ambassadors at every office location to make sure that our facility servers, equipment usage, and things like that are using energy efficiently as our business grows. And their role is to check on the emissions and coach the teams on how to be more sustainable. Speaking about data centers again, let's see how AWS uses water more efficiently. At our data centers, we assess both the water and energy usage to be the most efficient method. Did you know that there is an increase in emissions when we cool the enterprise on-premises data centers? AWS incorporates a technology called direct evaporative technology, which Ron alluded to earlier, to cool our data centers with less water. And here is how it works. During the cooler months, outside air is supplied directly to the data center without using any water. And during the hottest months of the year, outside air is cooled through an evaporative process to minimize water usage. And that is one more reason to move to the cloud. All right, so now that we have built an AWS infrastructure, how do we optimize it for sustainability? There are parts where AWS is responsible and parts where the customer needs to ensure that the sustainable practices are followed while building the AWS infrastructure. So the area that's green there is sustainability of the cloud, is basically the data centers and their servers, electrical supply, cooling, and waste management, which AWS is responsible for. The blue area is sustainability in the cloud, where customers are required to optimize their AWS architectures for sustainability. Moving on. At AWS, we prescribe well-architected architecture patterns to our customers through a framework called Well-Architected Framework. And until before this reinvent, we had just 5 pillars as part of this framework. We just introduced a 6th pillar called as a sustainability pillar, which you see that highlighted in green in the picture there. And this pillar is designed to track your progress towards best practices that support a more sustainable architecture. All right, so enough said about cloud. Now let's touch on the topic of data and Amazon's initiative around sustainability. I have seen customers who are wanting to build sustainable solutions in their software, but spend a lot of time looking for data. And by the time they get hold of the data that they need and provision it in their applications, it may be too late because many dynamics might have changed in their business differentiators. And here is where the Amazon Sustainability Data Initiative comes into picture. So AWS hosts a broad variety of data sets to make building sustainability solutions easier, where you are provided with weather data, satellite data, biological data, and much, much more. This allows customers like yourself to get started without the added burden of having to collect and store everything by themselves. Let's touch on a couple of examples here. One example is that the Landsat satellite imagery data is available free for use from NASA and USGS. But to use it in an application, it would require to be downloaded, stored in the cloud, and perhaps also cleaning it and organizing it to make it more accessible within your app. This could be quite time consuming and expensive too, because satellite data sets can be gargantuan, running into petabytes. And by using the free Landsat 8 data sets hosted on AWS, customers can offload all that work to AWS Cloud. As another example, on the right-hand side, you have the picture for Digital Earth Africa, which makes Earth observation data free and accessible to deliver decision-ready products to the African continent. All right. So that said, that's all I had for you today. And I would strongly suggest you to look into some of the AWS sustainability resources that were recorded and shared at the reInvent, because they are still available online. And here are some more references where you can learn more about sustainability initiatives, the blogs, and the data available through ASTI. And I'll be happy to share this deck post this presentation. That said, thank you so much for listening. I hope this information comes to you handy while thinking about building sustainability efforts in your organization.